Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome, welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Thursday. It is Things to Think on Thursday. I am here for you with another mental health subject. I'm not gonna lie, this one makes me a little nervous too, because I have not really, I've done research on it. I don't want to say I haven't done research on it. I've done research on it, sorry. I know, here I am getting dressed again right in front of y'all. I've done research on it, but not a lot, but I know it's something I have struggled with in the past and still do struggle with it today. So I just want to say, just no judgment on this one, because this one, it is a real mental health disorder, and it's very real for a lot of people. So just, I'm trying to cover a lot of different things since it is Mental Health Awareness Month. And like I said, it really should be Mental Health Awareness Day or week or year. Year is what I mean. God, my brain. Anyways, so I just Google searched body dysmorphia and came up with all this stuff. And it's a little, I was just kind of taking notes from all different places. So it's a little discombobulated, but what hasn't been in my brain this whole week. So I know. And like I said, you can't see the red stuff scratching, but yeah, because that's my tell. When I get nervous, I get itchy. So I know it's a weird tell, isn't it? Like everything gets itchy. It's like I just want to do this right now because I'm so nervous about this subject. But let's talk body dysmorphia. So thanks, older sibling. Sibling says she loves my shirt. Thank you for my shirt, older sibling. Yeah, and on the back it has all the names of Henry VIII's 6 wives in consecutive order. So, all right. Body dysmorphia. Now, body dysmorphia is a real thing. If you Google it and you click on images, you will see a lot of pictures where people look a certain size, but in the mirror, they look completely different. Maybe they're bigger which kind of seems to be the standard thing, right? Because, being human, people just get judgy about everything that we do. And I just want to start this off by saying, I truly do not believe there are any ugly people in this world. Not physically, anyway. There are a lot of unique people. There are a lot of different people. And unique isn't to say, oh, well, you're ugly, but I don't want to say it, so I'm going to call you unique. No, there are a lot of unique individuals out there. And, I think the only time a person is ugly is what's on the inside. When it's just gross and icky and it's like, what kind of human being are you? That's when I think people are ugly, is just on the inside. But on the outside, I think everybody is beautiful and handsome and unique in their own general way, whatever, brings them joy. And that's what the whole idea of talking about this is for. So people will sit, so when I said that, the images in the picture might be of somebody who's small, like thin, and then in the mirror, they may be a plus size or a larger size. And, I have struggled with body dysmorphia, and I struggled with it hard when I was skinny. I was one of those people, I look in the mirror and then, of course you sit there and go, well, I'm fat. And, people look at you, including people who might be heavier than you, and they look at you like, what is wrong with you? You are not. And it's a body distortion. There was childhood trauma for me. And so I think I just couldn't see what other people saw. And I'm trying to. I'm really doing my best to embrace the self-care and the self-love of self, because I think we all deserve that. The greatest love you can ever receive in your life is self-love, because it's truly the purest. It's truly the most hard to come by. That doesn't mean that if you fall in love with someone or your family members or your friends love you, that's not negating that. That is a wonderful feeling. That is a very good feeling. It's a joyous feeling, but self-love is the biggest gift you can ever give yourself. It is the biggest form of love and the most, again, purest form of love you can ever give, because you're seeing yourself, you're nurturing yourself, you're taking care of yourself. You're looking in the mirror and seeing this beautiful human being or this handsome human being, and or however you want to look at it, and you're loving who you are, and you're not letting other people's misguided comments bring you down. So let's get rolling. There are 2 definitions on here. So let me see. I made notes for my notes. It is a mental disorder that causes persistent, intense focus. It is a mental disorder that causes persistent, intense focus, shame, and anxiety over perceived body defects, often resulting in cosmetic procedures as a fix. Now, that's just one of the definitions. That doesn't mean that that's what people do. But cosmetic things aren't just about getting new boobs, a new nose, a new, eye lift or whatever. It's about, some people will do like when it comes to weight, they'll do, what do they call those things? Like the sleeve, or have their stomach stapled, or all these different things. And those are probably good because they're very helpful. In the long run, they can be very healthy for people. But here's the thing. If you're going to do that, I know that if I choose to do that, my medical insurance actually makes me go to a 6-week class, because they want to teach you how to eat. They want to teach you all the mental stuff. And most people, I believe, outside, who don't even have my health insurance, they have to go through like these classes to make sure, because if you do something that drastic, it is a lifestyle change. It means you cannot go out there and binge and feel okay about it. You are probably going to make yourself sick because they're shrinking your stomach. But you also don't want to go through this procedure and then just kind of toss it away like it's nothing. So it's something that really does take a lot of mental strength for it as well. And I think for the most part, because this is going to get into eating disorders, so I just want everyone to know, if you have any trigger alerts, please be aware now, because we're going to talk about eating disorders. We're going to talk about just being plus size, not plus size. I'm just going to go with it. Okay, whatever comes into my head, that's what we're going to talk about outside of my notes. But anyways, symptoms include frequent examination of appearance in the mirror, constantly. Now, remember, there's a difference between a person that has body dysmorphia and a person who is narcissistic. If somebody's walking away from the mirror going, yeah, you're still the hottest, coolest person in that mirror, that's self-love. But if they're walking away like, yeah, no one can resist me, I'm going to go out there and bang everything that comes into my way, there might be a borderline issue there. But a lot of people will look in the mirror and they'll just go over all the horrible things they see about themselves. And sometimes they'll stare into the mirror because they're like, why can't I see what everybody else sees? That's been my own experience. Why can't I see what everybody else sees? So again, cosmetic surgery, constantly comparing their appearance with others. A lot of people will do that. Now, you don't necessarily have body dysmorphia if you do. You could just be very, very uncomfortable in your body, whether you're thick or thin. And you might think, wow, but I am sure there are varying degrees of body dysmorphia. I'm sure just like depression, there's all different kinds of, depression under the mental health umbrella, just like for body dysmorphia, which again is a mental health disorder, is, I'm sure there's varying degrees, like 1 to 5, right? So avoiding social events and photos. I've had friends that do that, or they need to see the picture before you let them post it. Seeking verbal reassurance, excessive grooming, restricted eating, anxiety, depression, compulsive behavior. Now, restricted eating could be like where you're just, like anorexia, where you're starving yourself, or compulsive behavior could be. Is bulimia the one where they throw up? I'm sorry, my brain is just, it is squirreling on me right now because it is so nervous about this subject that it is literally trying to think of anything but that. But also there's, compulsive eating, which is basically emotional eating. thank you, older sibling. And then, then sometimes people will purge it. That's the word I was looking for. So treatments can include medication and cognitive behavioral therapy. Now, cognitive behavioral therapy, I've never been through that, but I've known people who have, and boy, that dives deep. That dives deep, deep, deep. In fact, maybe we'll talk about that next week, because I'd like to do a deeper dive into what cognitive behavioral therapy is. So body dysmorphia disorder is present in at least 25% of people with anorexia nervosa, and body distortions are almost always present in these cases. So it's possible that it could become dangerous. It's very common. It's a very common thing in more than 3 million people, or more than 3 million cases per year in the United States. Treatments to manage, there's treatments to manage it, but there is no cure. It's a mental health disorder. So, you cure the mental health, then you might be able to cure the issue, the disorder. It could be a potential lifelong battle. It could be, it could be a short amount of time that people go through this, or it could be years long. And I would say that's the difference on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being, won't last that long, or maybe I'm just, having, my body's changing and maybe I'm just having some issues with that, versus, level 5, where it's just a person wakes up and doesn't even want to look in the mirror. They could be the most beautiful creature on earth. In fact, it was interesting because when I Googled it, Megan Fox showed up, and I guess like a couple of days ago, she did an interview. I didn't read the articles, but they popped up in my Google search saying that she has had body dysmorphia, and that basically her entire life she's not loved herself. And, and we can sit there and go, but why? She's so pretty and she's, got this great figure and all that. Well, because we don't know what's going on up here. We don't know what's going on in someone's head. Now, you see, someone else is going to scroll through there and think, well, I don't know what her issue is. She has everything in the whole wide world, blah, blah, blah. Why would she hate her body? It doesn't matter who you are, okay? Mental health disorders do not discriminate. They don't give a shit if you are a 5-star general or if you're a dude or a woman cleaning the bathrooms, in a fast food place. They don't care. It doesn't care. It doesn't care. And by the way, any job that anybody does, kudos to you. Because you know what? We all make the world go round, right? We all participate. We all pitch in our little respective areas. But my point is, it doesn't matter. You could be a person who's won 1,000 Oscars and still just be battling mental health. It's just it is what it is. And, I know a lot of people hate that term because nobody wants to feel like, I think the way people look at the term, it is what it is like, it can't be changed, but it can be changed. But until it is changed, until it becomes a changed behavior, it basically is what it is. And until somebody takes the opportunity to change this behavior, it won't change. Now, the problem is, mental health is still so stigmatized, and there's still a lot that people who don't have mental health don't understand, that somebody with, BDD may go undiagnosed because someone will say, you know what, just stop. You're fine. You look great. I don't know why. Are you trying to get, that's the big one. Are you trying to get attention? Did I not give you enough attention? It's not always about that. It's not always somebody saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to go out tonight because I feel like I look horrible. I know people will put themselves down with different variations of naming themselves after larger animals. I don't want to trigger anybody here. Okay. I'm obviously a plus size person, but I will tell you this. Like I said, I struggled with body dysmorphia when I was young and skinny. I really did. And when I gained weight, I had to learn, I struggle with it still, the self-love, but I really had to buckle down and say, look, you know what, you've got to figure out how to love yourself. And that was part of my healing journey. And, the thing about the healing journey is the big part is over, but this is still part of my journey. The healing part is over. I got rid of all the crap that used to make me think so horribly about myself. But the new part of the journey is building this road for yourself, paving it as you go along and learning what brings you joy, what brings you happiness, learning to look in the mirror and, say, you know what, you look amazing today. You look beautiful today. Or, hey, I'm looking pretty sharp today, and not feel bad about it. That's not narcissism. Self-love is not narcissism. Okay. I mean, if you have to ask yourself if you are one, you are probably not one. Because a narcissist usually doesn't ask themselves if they are. They just think they're the most fabulous thing to walk the planet Earth, which isn't a bad thing, except most of them, tend to just think they're better than everybody else. And I think that's where, the self-love does this. It takes that split in the road to, well, nobody's as good as me. Or, there's just, to me, that's a complicated subject. And, we still have another, 10 business day, or maybe another 8 business days, eight potential more shows to maybe cover that too, because I think it's important, since I bring that up a lot. Why do I say we? I think I say we because I'm live. But anyways, it is a mental health condition, and it's a mental health condition on the obsessive compulsive spectrum. So, and we all know OCD is a thing. And OCD isn't just about washing your hands a million times or clicking your doors or counting to 10 before you walk through something. OCD is it's compulsive behavior, and it's obsessive compulsive behavior. So, that can cover a lot of things. I mean, we know the generalized terms and what movies have shown us and everything, but, mental health, again, is so complicated. It is so complicated. I mean, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and, even with older sibling with me, and they're like, well, I just don't understand it. And they're all like, and I say, I just don't think I'm ever going to understand it. And older sibling just said, I'm glad that you don't understand it. And what she meant by that is, I'm glad you don't understand it, because it means that you're not affected by it. It's a bitch. But we need to approach people who do have mental health with no judgment. Sometimes we just need people to sit there and be with us. Sometimes we just are going to have those moments where we're just like, and we need someone to remind us to breathe. Just breathe. Just take a deep breath. And on the flip side, if you have mental health issues, you can't always be mad when people don't understand. This is why and I say we, because there's tons of people out there advocating for mental health. So many. Because we know that we need to end the stigma. We know that we need to get people to understand what this is all about. And we know that we need to kind of paint a better picture than society has painted over the last however many centuries. Well, even just the last 100 years. You watch a movie, you put in a movie, right? One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Life isn't necessarily like that. In fact, older sibling was telling me about a comedian that was talking about this stuff. Like, the mental hospitals and stuff, they're not like the 60s and 70s or even the 50s and 40s. You don't, if you get checked in, you're not going to be locked into a room or something. It's more open now. It's people sitting there guiding you through whatever you're going through, making sure you're staying safe in this time that you're staying safe. I've personally never been in one, but I've heard other people who have. I've heard stories of other people who have, and they're definitely not as horrible as they used to be. I mean, they didn't just throw you in there, throw away the key, and lock you up and throw away the key. Now people will bring you in and they will work with you to get you better, not just toss you off and let you be somebody else's problem. So, I'm going to read you where this condition may have first been discovered or been reported. I'm not particularly keen on the wording but you know, this is from 1886, so it's like what, 137 years ago. And you know, we weren't, definitely did not have the politically correctness going on back then. And you know, I'm a borderline politically correct person. You know, I mean, there are things you just should not say. There are words that you should just not say. But you know, I also live on the edge with my mouth, my swearing and all this stuff. And, you know, I'm unapologetically me. You know, I know the things I shouldn't say. I know the words I shouldn't say, and I refuse to say, you know, like bad word, like bad derogatory cultural words. You know which ones I'm talking about, period, across the board. But there's one word I really, really hate when it comes to the personal appearance of somebody. And that's the U word. That's the 4-letter U word. Ugly. I don't like that. Like I said, to me, the only way a person is ugly is if they have a very ugly soul. You know, on the outside, I think everybody is a beautiful human being. And it's not because I felt low about myself. It's because, well, no, it is. It's because I have been in places where I have felt like the ugliest human being on the planet. And I've heard other people, I mean, I've been called ugly. I've known people, you know, just sitting there and you hear somebody go, man, they're ugly. I mean, I've in my life, I've been around some pretty judgy people. And the funny thing is they struggle with their own self, you know, love. And maybe that's why sometimes people say it, because they struggle with themselves. So, you know, what they're projecting onto someone else may be what they're, you know, feeling on the inside, but it's still not an excuse. You know, I had a friend once where I said, well, God doesn't make ugly people. Yes, he does. And I'm like, oh my God, seriously? It's like, what is wrong with you? I mean, are you literally saying God is judgmental? And they're all, well, I mean, look around. I said, no, I think that's really where I flipped. And I mean, in the way that I really kind of think, no, everybody's beautiful in their own unique way. Everybody's, you know, special in their own unique way. And it's not for us to judge other people. It's like, you know what? If you want to call someone ugly and think it's funny, you better take a good, deep, long look on your inside. All right? Because, you know, you're either very insecure or you're an asshole. One of the two. I mean, I'm not going to put those hand in hand together saying, well, you're an insecure asshole. No. I mean, you're either insecure or you're an asshole. And I don't mean that to be mean, and maybe that's a little in people's faces. But if you're insecure calling somebody ugly, look inside, fix what needs to be fixed. But if you're just sitting there, maybe in a narcissistic way, you know, because you think you're better than everybody else, going, oh man, that bitch is ugly. Fuck you. So I'm sorry. I got feelings about this. I have been objectified when I was thin. I have been called things when I started gaining weight, and not by people I know. You know, I mean, one friend did say what I said the other day. It's like, well, you know, if you lost weight, you'd probably be able to find a man. It's like, wow. It's like, I know what you're thinking now. It's like, thanks. Because but they followed up, well, you're a beautiful person, but you're very heavy. And it's like, okay, thanks. Like I don't see myself in the mirror every day, right? Because that really helped my self-love. But I figured, you know what? I did say, you know what? That's very hurtful. You know, I mean, this didn't happen because I didn't take care of myself. Well, in a way it did, but this happened because I hated myself. I put up a wall, but my wall was built by food and bad health choices. And it's something I know I need to work on, but I don't need someone else judging me for that. You know, my body dysmorphia is getting better because I'm working on it. We cannot push people out of their comfort zones, and you cannot push them out of their comfort zones by saying nasty, cruel, mean things, because all you're going to do is push them farther back in. And in fact, any work that they may have done to get where they were at, you may have just negated. Because if they're not in a strong mental place with working on their self-love and working on their body dysmorphia, they're going to believe what you're saying, especially if it's somebody you trust. Or if you're just some random person that you think somebody doesn't hear you, and you make a comment. People hear you, and it may not be everybody, but you may hit the wrong target. You may be pointing at somebody and someone else is going to hear you and go, "Oh." Or if you have insecure friends, they may think, "Oh my gosh, well, if they're saying this about somebody else, what do they think about me?" And it's a vicious, ugly cycle. And that's why I said, from what I'm about to read, I'm not particularly fond of the wording, but again, it's 137 years old, 1886. So in 1886, Enrico Morselli reported a disorder he termed, sorry, let me try this again. In 1886, Enrico Morselli reported a disorder he termed dysmorphophobia. So dysmorphophobia, which described the feeling of being ugly even though nothing appears to be wrong with the person. That's the part too, ugly and nothing wrong with the person. I mean, come on. Like I said, everybody is unique and beautiful in their own way. So in 1980, the American Psychiatric Association recognized the disorder. So 94 years later, somebody decided, oh, okay, it's a real thing. So, yeah, great. Anyways, the causes, there's no exact one is known, but the following factors play a role. Abnormalities in brain structure. So, maybe you got maybe there's something's not sparking in there. So, well, basically, when they say abnormalities in brain structure, I think that is something that could be leaning towards a type of mental health, just maybe a brain damage or something like that. Genetic disorders, environmental factors. Environmental factors could be maybe bullying in school, emotional or verbal abuse at home, trauma, sexual abuse, violent, acts of violence. Risk factors include having mental disorders like perfectionism personality trait, which my guess is I think I may have known somebody who had that, where it's just their body dysmorphia was so bad that their whole body just had to be perfect. And I mean, it was just, I didn't realize that until later when, somebody else told me, and I was like, whoa, no way. So, family history of body dysmorphia or OCD. So basically mental disorders, complications, depression, anxiety, abnormal thoughts. Abnormal thoughts, I think they're trying to tread lightly here, but I would say abnormal thoughts could be just how you see yourself in the mirror. It could be not wanting to be alive anymore because, people are constantly nagging you or harassing you or bullying you over, how what you say about yourself. Like, well, it's, I'm just blah, blah, blah. And, and I get it. I mean, I don't have that, and I'm grateful I don't have that. But I have very supportive people around me. I do have people that have concerns for my health, so that's understandable. But I'm lucky I don't have that. But like I said, I have heard people that don't even know me talking about me. Or when you go to sit down on a plane and somebody knows they have to sit next to you, it's like, and or in a movie or in a theater, and they're like, and it's like, you know what? I get it. I'm sorry that your pant might actually touch my leg. But, I mean, sibling and I have a quick fix for that on the airplane. And I mean, I'm not huge, but, I think the way we treat people or the way we roll our eyes when we see someone walking down the aisle, or that might be a little heavier set, or even again, on the flip side, somebody who might be heavier looking at someone who's thin and just going, ugh, it's like, just mind your own business. Take care of yourself. All right. And like I said, there's two sides. When I first started jumping into body positivity, I think one of the reasons that, even though I use the hashtag body positivity a lot when I talk about things that I'm going through, but I think one of the things that turned me off from it for a while was that some of the groups that I joined of, heavier people, like plus size people, big and beautiful, as they would call themselves, is they would be very, I know one person on there says, well, I don't feel like this. And then, that somebody will click on their profile and go look. It's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about because I see all your pictures and you have nothing. There's no problem with you. You have nothing wrong with you. And so I think people took body positivity and took it to a whole level of just not, God, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. But I think they skewed it and didn't realize that just because, this person may not be your size, or they may look healthy or skinny or whatever to you, doesn't mean that that's what they see up here. There's a great meme that I have in my phone, and it's a girl it's just a block. It's two pictures, and the first one is the girl, and she's a little plus size in the first block, or sorry, I don't know why I can't think today, and well, I do. I'm just nervous about this whole subject. But in the first block, she's a little heavier. And she kind of looks sad as she's looking in the mirror. And she says, if I lose weight, I'll feel better. And then in the next block, they show her and she's thinner. And she still looks sad. And she's like, nope, that wasn't it. And I think that's what a lot of people go through. I remember a long time ago, both Sissy and older sibling. But Sissy said it to me. And she's all, you can lose all the weight you want, but until you start to see yourself for who you are, and she was saying all these nice things about me, just giving me all these wonderful adjectives and all these very complimentary things. She's all, you're not going to love yourself. And it was a very profound thing. And it was one of the last things she said to me in the last couple of months that she was alive. She said, you know what, you've got to fix what's going on in your head before you can really love yourself. And I think maybe that's where I started on that self-love journey, was just, maybe that was when she planted the seed. It just took a while for the seed to grow. But she says it doesn't matter how much weight in the world you lose. If you don't love yourself, it's never going to matter. And it kind of hit me between the eyes. And, other people have said that, but coming from her, considering some of the conversations her and I have had, coming from her, it was very profound. It was very like, wow, okay, thank you for that. And, that's where I think the eating disorders come in. I'm an emotional eater, and I try every day to make better choices. I try every day to make the right choices. I think there are days when I have better days and I'm just like I'll eat something and then I'll stop because I'm full. And it's like, yeah. And in fact, this last week, I've been doing a lot of that. It was funny. Yesterday, I plowed through breakfast yesterday, but then I realized I hadn't eaten in like 15 or 16 hours. I hadn't eaten since like 2 or 3 o'clock the day before. And it's like, oh my God, that's right. I haven't eaten since then. I've only had water. And it wasn't on purpose. I just wasn't hungry. Sibling shared her birthday cake with me, and it was just like, this is good. But it filled me up. It straight up filled me up. And then when I got home from the show on Tuesday night, I was just like, it's too late to eat anything. I almost did. But I think sibling not wanting to stop actually saved me from that, because she's like, well, you can stop. It's like, nah, I'm just going to go home and go to sleep. If I go to sleep with a rumbling tummy, it's okay. I'll be fine. Because I think sleep outweighed, hunger. And it really wasn't that hungry. I could just kind of feel my stomach getting ready to growl. So it's just like, we're going out to breakfast in the morning with Dad. So, let's just do that way. And it worked. And then yesterday, last night, my dad we went to happy hour, and my dad got an appetizer. And I was kind of just nibbling on that. Not excessive nibbling, but that when my food came, it's like I ordered a club sandwich. I ate you know how they cut it into fours? They like one. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to save this for lunch tomorrow because I'm so not hungry right now. So, you know, it's these little things. When we stop trying to fill these holes inside of us, we can stop some of these compulsive behaviors. I'm not saying that you can just, you know, snap yourself out of OCD, but what I'm talking about is the compulsive eating or binge eating and then purging, you know, binging and purging, or starving yourself because, you know, you think you're one way or the other. I mean, there are people who will lose so much weight and, you know, from anorexia, and they'll look in the mirror and they see that is a, you know, I know now why they brought up anorexia nervosa, because that is a huge one. They'll look in the mirror and, you know, you can look at them and they may look very unhealthy, very gaunt, you know, their little sunken eyes, maybe their skin doesn't look as healthy, and they'll think, oh, this is where I need to be. But then they might have a trigger and all of a sudden it's like, no, this isn't good enough. I have to keep going. And it's dangerous. Obviously, purging is dangerous. Emotional eating is dangerous. When my therapist for a couple years ago told me that eating, you know, emotional eating is an actual eating disorder, I was relieved because I thought I was making it up in my head. I literally thought I came up with emotional eating on my own. I'm smart, but apparently somebody just beat me to the punch on that one, like a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, it's just another compulsive behavior. You know, I feel sad inside, I feel like a hole, or maybe you're like, I'm not losing weight fast enough, fuck it, I give up. And then you just like, I'm just going to go out there and make bad choices. Well, the last time I was here, I made some bad choices and I paid for it. I paid for it hard. I got a migraine, and then let's just say it got really ugly after that. And then while I had a migraine, I had to clean up the mess. No, I mean, you know, so it was not to be gross or anything, but yeah, my tummy was just like, nope, it's coming out, kid. It's coming like a waterfall, or a broken pipe. And it was just, you know, but I overate. And I don't know why, because I wasn't feeling blue or sad or anything that day. I think I was just kind of like, I got too much food, and then I thought, oh my God, I have to eat it all. And that's another thing, you know, if somebody's full, don't tell them you need to clean your plate. I mean, if they got like 6 or 7 bites left, just let it go. All right. We do not live in the day and age where we have to clean our plates, because that is also gonna, you believe it or not, that is where that came from. It has been ingrained in my head since I was a kid. There are starving children in China. You have to clean your plate. Okay. Apparently when Sibling was growing up, it was starving children in India. So, or they're starving children, I'm sorry, not China, Africa and China. My mom would say China. And then as I got older, I would hear my cousins go, they're starving kids in Africa. You should eat all your food. And it's just, and it's not making fun of that. That's literally what they would say. And it was just like, well, you need to clean your plate, you know, or when people would take you out, well, somebody paid good money for that meal. You need to eat it all. And it's like, no. Okay. If you go out to a restaurant with friends and you're afraid you're going to overeat, or you're afraid you're going to just like plow through your food, do not be ashamed to ask for a doggy bag or a to-go box at the very beginning. I shit you not. Just say, you know what? If they look at you like you have 10 heads and you feel like you need to explain, just say, yeah, you know what? I know I'm not going to be this hungry, eat all this, but I know that if I don't put it away, I'm going to eat it all. It's none of their business. What you do is what you do. Okay. You or somebody else is paying for this meal. So you can decide how you want to eat it. Now, I know I'm sounding very soapboxy, and I really don't mean to, but you know, that might be why I'm so nervous and why my brain kept squirreling on me, because it's such a complicated subject that the only real way I can explain what I'm talking about is this is my perspective. Somebody else may have a completely different perspective on body dysmorphia disorder, but this is what I've seen. These are the things I've been through. You know, I've been thick, I've been thin. Like I said, when I tried to join some of these groups of body positivity, there were some people that were just great. Like, you know, they were all inclusive. Everybody, no matter what you think you look like, just go out there, live your best life, love yourself to your fullest, don't worry about what other people think about you. Don't worry about what other people say. And then there were other people that would just kind of, it'd be like a bitch fight or a little, cat fight, just pew, 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 pew. And then you'd have people in the comments who weren't probably not as plus size as some of these people. And they were getting backlash from people going, well, you have no idea what you're talking about. You don't know what it's like to be like this, blah, 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 blah. And this person may struggle with body dysmorphia. Again, every time we talk about this subject, I bring up the show This Is Us, where this one girl was in a, I'm going to assume it was an Overeaters Anonymous group, but I'm not 100% sure. But most of the people in that room were pretty, plus size. There were plus size and there were plus sizes. And she was this thin girl. And people would just look at her like, what is your problem? She's like, yeah, I looked in the mirror this morning and blah, blah, blah. And she had major insecurities and she had body dysmorphia. And they kind of explored because she did end up becoming a recurring role. But to one of the main characters, and actually ended up becoming one of her best friends. So, but I think what they were trying to show is that, it doesn't matter what, you think. It's what's going on in a person's mind. Like I said, what you speak is what you hear. It's what your brain is going to process, and it's what you're going to see. And if you're constantly putting yourself down, if you're constantly seeing somebody icky or gross or ugly in the mirror, that's what you're going to keep seeing. Mental health disorders are no joke. I mean, literally, they are no joke. They're hard. They are hard. It's like somebody that wants to pave a road, I mean, maybe you want to resurface your driveway, right? And somebody comes up to you and brings you all the materials and say, hey, do it. That's what mental health sometimes feels like. Hi, Leah. Good morning. Yeah, I'm here. And so I'm here for a couple days. But yeah, so just, do your thing. Be kind. Be kind. Like I said, I know people will disagree with me, but I don't think there are ugly people in this world. Not physically. No matter what a person looks like. Not physically. Inside, yes, there are ugly people on the inside. There are people who are mean. There are people who are cruel. There are people who will, say things just to hurt other people. To me, that's ugly. And there's a fine line between people that are that have concerns for you or trying to be nice to you, by saying, hey, I'm a little worried about you. Or so, those take with a grain of salt because that's just someone coming at you from a place of concern. But when you're sitting there and somebody sitting next to you goes, oh my God, that person is so ugly. Or look at that stupid outfit or whatever, that's their insecurities. That is that's their insecurities. I've gotten to a point now when people say that around me, I'd be like, hey, you know what? That's their personal choice. That's their style. I wear Doc Martens with sundresses. I have no room to criticize people. So, I wear Converse with dresses. I don't care. Whatever is comfortable for me, that's what I'm throwing on my feet, and whatever's comfortable for me to wear, that's what I'm wearing. But I'm wearing my shirt because I love my shirt and it's brand new. But we do need to be better. We do need to take mental health more seriously. That's why for Mental Health Awareness Month, I've really been trying to focus on that. Because I think it's important, and because it is Mental Health Awareness Month, I figure if anybody wants to go back and see what I've talked about, they can kind of just find it in one little, area, not just spread out. But really, honestly, mental health awareness should be every day. People don't just have mental health problems in May. They have them every day. And, there's some people who, there's this thing called the Depression Project, and one of them apparently went into remission with their depression. Now, I'm not sure if it was, a clinical depression that they had and they just found tools to manage it, or if it was just maybe situational. I don't know, but it's a great site if you ever want to look it up. But I think there are ways that people can kind of, take a step back, look at how they handle things, how they react to things, and come up with the tools to help yourself. And that's the same with body dysmorphia. The people around you that love you and care about you and would not lie to you are not going to say, oh, wow, I just want you to know you were such a beautiful person. And without you running to the bathroom going, what's wrong with me? And people have done that. I've done that. I feel like they're complimenting me because I'm probably, like they're just trying to make me feel better about myself because, they see what I really look like. They see what's really going on out here. But no, they're saying it because they mean it. I will never give a compliment I do not mean. If I'm giving you a compliment, I mean it. And if I don't mean it, I ain't going to say it. But I mean it when I say I do not believe there are ugly people in this world. Just ugly souls, ugly hearts. And sometimes those are fixed when they get their own help, when they stop, bitching about the world and turn their focus on themselves and say, hey, how can I be better? But body dysmorphia is a real thing. And again, it is a mental illness characterized by obsessive focus on a perceived flaw in appearances. So again, it is a mental illness characterized by excessive focus on a perceived flaw in appearance. That's something I think we can leave that on right there. So, I was all over the board, a little discombobulated this morning, but, like I said, I have a great view out my window, so I get so distracted. That's why I'm always looking that way, because it's just like I'm looking out there, like my thoughts are out there. But this subject did make me a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. It made me, well, not a little nervous. It made me very nervous. I mean, my head is so itchy right now. I cannot even tell you. My chest is itchy right now, but it's itching on the side of the mic, so it's like, oh, and see, now I'm scratching my arm. But yeah, it's a tough subject. It really is a tough subject. And I think it's one that we can really give a little attention to, a lot of attention to. If, sometimes you can tell when people are fishing for a compliment. And maybe if they're fishing for a compliment, it's because they don't feel good about themselves. They might feel insecure. You could know the most beautiful person in the world and they may have an insecurity. They may not look at themselves. Like I said, when I did the whole Google search on BDD, Megan Fox popped up. I was like, wait, what? But then I had to remind myself, that's right, she's human. We all have our things. But, I think the reason I wanted to bring her up is because she is a very beautiful person. And she struggles with her own self. She struggles with her body, and she struggles with her appearance. And it may not seem like it, but remember, when people walk a red carpet or people pose for photos, it's just like the rest of us where, we want to just look our best or we want to be our best. But there's also the whole fake it till you make it thing. And a lot of people with any type of mental health disorder will do the fake it till you make it. If you were a person who does not suffer from a dinged up mental health and you're having a bad day, but say, maybe you broke up with somebody or somebody broke up with you, or maybe you lost your job and then that weekend you have a family event and you're feeling horrible inside. You're feeling like, oh, I can't do this, but I'm just going to put on my smile and I'm going to go and I'm going to have a good time. And everyone, then maybe a week later, someone might say, hey, haven't heard from you or seen you in like a week. Are you okay? Yeah, I've just been really down in the dumps for the last week. Oh, but you seemed so fine at the party last week. That's what mental health people have to go through. We have to do a lot of fake it till you make it. And that's, like I said, that's just, an example. Like, well, you looked fine last weekend. Yeah, because, I decided I'm just going to go have a good time. And, maybe you accidentally had a good time, right? You weren't planning on it, but, you had a good time. But then, you get home and everything is, you're back into your reality. And when you're back into your reality, you're kind of like, ugh. And then you just need the time to ride through it. And so, like I said, mental health is very similar in my experience. This is, again, this whole show and everything I've talked about, everything I talk about all the time, these are my perspectives on things. But, and there's some of these things, like I said, I get very passionate about because, I've been on the both ends, like I said, I've been thick, I've been thin, And I got made fun of when I was thin too. I was called ugly a lot when I was growing up. I was a very awkward child growing up, and I got bullied a lot in school, mostly for my looks, or people making fun of me, or people making fun of my clothes, or my hair, or the fact that I wore glasses since I was like in third grade. And it's not a surprise that I grew up thinking I was absolutely the most ugliest person on the planet. Only for my mom to hear me say that once and say, I don't make ugly babies. You need to stop that. But there were just a lot of factors that went into it. I mean, I'm not going to complain because I'm still alive. I have wonderful parents that gave me all the love I needed, probably a little too much attention. I'm not going to lie. But I'm an only child. And trust me, I'm not that kind of only child. I got in trouble a lot. And I was a good kid. Seriously, I was a good kid, but I got in trouble. I talked back a lot. I had a mouth. But I talked a lot in school. But yeah, my mom told me that. That's one of my favorite things. Sometimes I feel like I should just have a little quote, a little tattoo quote on me that says, I don't make ugly babies, just as a reminder. But I'm getting there. I'm starting to see the beauty that everybody else sees. And I'm saying that out loud. And because it's hard for me to say that, I've been struggling and wanting to say that this whole time, but I've been struggling with that. And, but I think we all should be able to look in the mirror and say, hey, you're looking pretty sharp. You're looking pretty sexy. You're looking pretty hot tonight or today, whatever time of the day it is. Or, you're a very handsome human being. Oh, oh gosh, I have a zit. Oh, well, it'll go away. We have to stop worrying about what the rest of the world thinks about us and only start worrying about what we think about us. And remember, if somebody has embraced their self-love, it's not necessarily narcissism. I mean, unless they're sitting there, unless you sit there and say, hey, I love your outfit. And they turn around and say, oh yeah, well, I can't be seen with you today because you're wearing that. You might have problems. But if you say, hey, you look great today. Thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like I'm having a really good day today. I've impressed myself today. Just like I said, there is a fine line that I think, sometimes the line may not be that fine. Narcissism is its whole, I swear to it, that's its own umbrella. That is its own umbrella. And like I said, I think I'm going to talk about that next week because, that's where I get a little confused. If you feel good about yourself, go out there and share that with the world. Okay? But don't be mean to other people. Don't be insecure about other people. Don't be rude to other people. Don't make fun of people that you might think are awkward or look awkward or dress awkwardly. Okay? Don't be the bully. Especially if you grew up and you had been bullied. That's why I sit there and say I don't think there are ugly people in this world. There are unique people. There are people who choose to be different. There are people who, want to look the same as everybody else. But those are their choices. Some of them may be questionable, I'm not going to lie. But especially when it comes to cosmetic surgery. But imagine all the cosmetic surgery that somebody might do because they don't feel that great about themselves on the inside. That is where I think I can't even say it. That is where I think Jesus Christ. That is where I think perfectionism personality trait comes in, when they keep seeing themselves and they still think there's improvement. So I'm also not going to judge people that want to make those choices. That's their choice. But I do challenge you for this. If you feel like you need to have something cosmetic done, just do a deep dive into why you think you need to have it done. Is it something that's going to bring you joy, or are you doing it so the rest of the world doesn't look down on you? Because if you want new boobs, hey, that's great. But are you doing it for yourself? Because you've always wanted to fill out a shirt, or because you always want to do this, that, or the other, then that's great. Go for it. But if you're doing it for other people, or you're doing it because people might make fun of you, or because someone said your breasts aren't big enough, please, please, please think about that. Okay? Or if you feel like you need to get a facelift because you found a wrinkle or someone pointed out a wrinkle, Please just think about it first. Like I said, I'm not going to judge anybody that makes these choices. That's up to them. That is up to them, because those are personal choices. But I just want people to do things for themselves because it brings them joy, not because they think the world is going to look at them differently, or somebody else wants it, or you want to make somebody else happy, or I remember I started dieting. I was 120 pounds, and I mean, I normally through high school carried through about 115. And in my senior year, I'd gained a little weight the year before when I went to West Virginia with the family. Hey, those southern portions are huge, but I still came back. I was still thin. I mean, I'm like 5'5", 5'4.5", to sibling, I'm 5'3", but even though I still mildly tower over her, at our short heights. But, I remember I had an auntie come up and she put her hand around my wrist. And she says, "Oh, it's good to see you finally gaining a little weight, because you've always been," and then she kind of pinches my arm and she's, "Oh, you've always been too skinny." And in my mind, she was just like, "Oh, good. You look a little healthier now, blah, blah." But in my mind, she was calling me fat. I was 120 pounds and I started dieting. I know, but I wasn't upset at her, because I realized she was just like, "Oh, you look healthier," and blah, blah. And I mean, for me, I just couldn't keep the weight on. I had a very wonderful metabolism until I killed it, because somebody thought I was fat. And ever since then, I've struggled with my weight. I've struggled with emotional eating. I've struggled with a lot of things when it comes to my weight. And, so I just really, really want people to understand that body dysmorphia disorder is a very, very real thing. And, just be kind. Be kind to people. Like I said, I keep repeating this, and somebody might be saying, "Are you trying to convince yourself because you keep saying it over and over again?" No, I'm trying to plant it and really kind of punch it into people's brains that there are no ugly people in this world, just ugly hearts and ugly souls. So, good morning, baby bear. I know you made it just in time for me to get to go, but yeah, it was a struggle with this subject today. But I'm glad to see you on here. Thank you for the good morning. I appreciate it. And you guys go out there, take care of yourselves, and stand up for the little people. I mean, I don't mean little like size wise. I mean, stand up for the people who you see getting picked on, or you see, it's like, you don't have to confront the abuser of the situation. Especially if it's someone that doesn't know somebody else. And there are ways that, I've been reading up on different ways where you can kind of, diffuse a situation simply by sitting down next to the person and engaging the person who's being attacked in conversation. And then just kind of let them know in a low tone, because you don't want the person who's attacking them to hurt, to hear it, because, they might still be yelling at them. Just say, "Hey, what, is this someone you know?" No. If it is someone they know, do you need me to call someone? Do you need me to call 911? Do you need me to do or do you want me to just sit here? And, sometimes it can be a dangerous situation, but when someone's just being verbally attacked, you can sit down next to them, ask them if they're okay. Are you okay? Are you doing okay? And it's like, I'm trying to diffuse the situation here. When I tell you, let's just get up and walk away together, and I can walk you wherever you need me to walk you to. And that can sometimes help diffuse the situation, and you never know, the person yelling at them may have their own mental health issue, or they may just be making fun of them. They may be an asshole. I actually learned this when people were really kind of going off on the Asian community, and just, beating them up on the streets and everything. And it's like, this one girl who has American Asian Pacific Islander started a group and a site, and she put that on there, because it's not just Asians, it's all different races, period. I mean, bullying has no color. Bullying has no color. So that's one way to diffuse a situation. And I've been grateful I've never had to do that. I need to work on myself though, because I knee jerk bad. And I just feel like I just want to go to battle with some people, because especially when they're horrible and they're mean. And I think those are things inside of me. Yeah, I mean, what Michelle said, it's everyone. I mean, Michelle got bullied when she was in school. And so, like I said, bullying has no color. It's, so we need to be better at that as well. But, I think I need to step off my soapbox and put it back where it belongs now. But I do hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Please take care of yourselves. I know I always say that at the end of my show. Please take care of yourselves. That should be like the tagline, right? Welcome to the Aloha perspective. Please take care of yourselves. But do take care of yourselves and really kind of think about what I said here. I know a lot of it was discombobulated. I know a lot of in between my thoughts, I gave you some things that I got off the internet. You can Google search body dysmorphia, and it's Dysmorphia. But again, like I said, they had in 1886, this gentleman came up with dysmorphophobia, and even the wording in that I don't like. What was it? Which he described as the feeling of being ugly, even though nothing appears to be wrong with them. So basically, if you look like there's something might be wrong with you, then it's okay to feel bad. But if there's nothing, particularly wrong with you, no, that's not the case. I think, like I said, the terminology for 137 years ago is way different than it is now. And people have the right to feel good about themselves. I mean, you may see a person that may not look like what you think perfect is. And they may be out there happy. I mean, I know girls that are my size or bigger that just live their best life. And yet I struggle because I worry about what other people think about me. And I think that's why I'm struggling to lose the weight, because I worry about what other people think about me. I worry about people if I would be attracted to me. I worry about this, that, and this, that. And the point I'm missing is it doesn't matter. What matters is what I think about myself. Like I said before, and it sounds a little bitchy when I say it, but if you're going to judge me by what you see on the outside, you're going to miss on a hell of a person on the inside. And yeah, I'm tooting my own horn in that case, because I have learned through my journey, I have learned through the people around me that love me, that care about me, including Baby Bear. Baby Bear is one of them. Her and baby sibling and older sibling building me up all the time. Especially Baby Bear. Baby Bear will sit there on Snapchat. Oh, Mama Bear, you look, wow. You're glowing. You look beautiful as always. And I mean, this is one of the prettiest people I know. So it's just so older sibling, beautiful human being. Baby sibling, beautiful human being. Baby Bear, beautiful human being. Leah, Jeannie, all my cousins, everybody around me. We're all very unique and special and important in our own ways. But yeah, if you're going to judge somebody on the outside, you're probably going to miss out on a spectacular person on the inside. Like I said, all this, it changes. It never stays the same. It will change over time. But what happens on the inside, that stays the same. It either gets better, hopefully it doesn't get worse, but if it gets better and you can see the person lighting up from the inside out, that's a gift. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you to older sibling and Baby Bear for all those little emojis coming up the screen. I appreciate it. Take care of yourselves. Like I said, have a great, great day. And I will see everybody tomorrow for Oracle Friday. Tomorrow's Oracle Friday. Since I do not have to take a train home, I brought cards with me. So we will have an Oracle Friday tomorrow. Again, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. I'll be back here tomorrow, 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, Facebook Live. All lives are public. Anybody can watch. I share it to my Facebook page and my YouTube channel, which is both of them are the Aloha Perspective. Baby Bear, you have a fantastic day as well. I love you too. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Yeah. And she's, yeah. My thoughts are going everywhere now. So anyways, have a great day. Just have a great day. All right. And if you want to come back for Aloha Oracle, oh my God. If you want to come back for Aloha Oracle tomorrow, you know what time. If not, have a great, great weekend, and I will talk to you Monday.